Alright, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about, is government regulation of cryptocurrency really a bad thing? So this is something I think about once in a while, and this article made me think about it again today. I came across this, and so basically the article isn't necessarily important, just the idea of it. And very unfortunate for the person who was robbed, but somebody was robbed at gunpoint to make a Bitcoin transfer in England. And this got me thinking, so is government regulation really a bad thing? And so I wanted to talk about that, and there's a lot to go over, because first and foremost, you call the police after you're robbed. So you just brought in the government, essentially, into your crypto situation, and I know this is a little different than necessarily regulation, but it just goes to show that you're willing to bring the government into crypto, which is supposed to be absolutely free of any government, to call the police to have them assist you in this robbery. And that's all fair and good. Of course, I would do the same if something happened to me. But so I wanted to talk about regulation. I think the first thing that people think of when they think of regulation is taxes, is the taxation of cryptocurrency, the exchanges, the purchasing of goods and services in crypto coin and what have you. So there are two things in life that are certain, and that is death and taxes. So it is not particularly surprising to me that the government is, at least the U.S. government and several other nations are beginning to tax cryptocurrency. And so that, again, not really surprising to me. And so I think there's a group of people, and they always say that one line that taxation is theft, and that's all they put in a YouTube comment or on Facebook or wherever. It just says taxation is theft. Well, to some degree, I suppose, if you think about it that way. Now, I'm not a very big fan of income tax personally, but I don't have a problem with taxes because I think about it in sort of a rational way. I certainly don't like to have $300 taken out of a paycheck for federal taxes, for income tax, but in terms of your daily taxation, I don't really find anything wrong with that, because if you consider this as an example, maybe it'll help you understand a little bit more. And you guys are free to come in the conversation, comment down below, whatever you guys feel about this long topic that I'm about to talk about here. And so if you think about this example, that you need to pay your Department of Transportation in your particular state. I used to live in Pennsylvania, and it was called PennDOT. I live in Arizona now, which is just AZ-DOT, I think. And so this organization is responsible for the creation and maintaining roadways. And you think to yourself, well, why do I have to pay the government to pay these people to fix my roads? Why can't I do that? I think we can handle that ourselves. And I think just saying that in itself just goes to show, well, who are you going to pay? Are you going to pay the government, or are you going to pay some private corporation or private company to do the roads? It's, in the end, the result is the same thing. You're going to have to pay somebody for your roads, and your schools and your hospitals and everything else in between, firefighters, policemen. So all these things need taxed. And yes, the people could do this themselves, but in the end, you're just going to be paying somebody no matter what. So if you're paying just private corporations or private companies to maintain your roadways and to police your town, then it's the same thing, and it might result in monopolies and duopolies anyway. Now, there is a question of efficiency. In terms of efficiency, is the government better at paying these groups or these individuals to do the roadways? Probably not. That's a whole different topic for a completely different topic, if you will. But I believe private companies probably could do it more efficient. But it is what it is. But what I'm really talking about is regulations of exchanges and a sense of accountability. So if we take a look at the financial crisis of 2007 and 2008, for those of you that are somewhat younger, it may not have affected you very much because you weren't really out and about. But I remember during this time that gasoline was like $4 or $5 a gallon. And I used to drive around in a 1987 Dodge Ram. And it was as wide as a bus, and it got 12 miles to the gallon tops. And so I was putting at least $150 worth of gas every 2 weeks into this truck to get to my job. So it was a really bad time. And what came out of it, it's actually really fascinating. Go and watch a documentary if you have not seen any kind of documentaries on the financial crisis of 2008. But it's very interesting how it happened, and a little bit frustrating because in the end, just a few people screwed over a lot of people. And it was a little bit of dumb investors and quite a bit of sharkish, shilly bankers. And basically what they did, they were just selling these subprime mortgages to anybody and everybody. So anybody and everybody. And at first, the price of your mortgage, the monthly payment of your mortgage was very, very low. They were all variable rates. So at any time, they could just jack up the interest rate on you. So 9 months later, you're still paying $600 a month for your mortgage, or $700, whatever. And now all of a sudden it's $1,200 a month, or it's $900 a month. And that crushed a lot of people because they weren't necessarily prepared for that variable rate, and their income wasn't prepared for that either. And now that, yes, it is on them, but this practice of these shark-like subprime mortgage loans was pretty bad, and it was actually a result of deregulation. So, it goes in phases: regulation, deregulation of these certain markets in the United States and across the world, really. And when there's deregulation, all the prices go up and everybody's happy. But then what happens is something ends up collapsing sooner or later because of basically terrible practice and evil bankers, if you will. So very interesting topic, the 2008 crisis. And again, that was a result of deregulation. So what I'm thinking with the government, there has to be some kind of regulation in terms of cryptocurrency in a number of ways. And of course, I'm not really into politics so much, so I can't really give you two specific examples. But I feel that especially ICOs need to be greatly monitored and regulated, and they have to operate in a particular way, because we're having all of these lending coins come in. Bitcoin, or BitConnect, Devor, and just basically all these lending coins are just pouring in. I think Thorncoin was another one of them that Trevon James is now shilling. And none of these coins are going to last. So the people that get in right away will end up making it. But the people on the end will not, because it's essentially a pyramid scheme, and there are some great functional pyramid schemes out there in the world that still exist. I think last week tonight, YouTube channel did a great episode on pyramid scams and these marketing. So like Mary Kay products are a pyramid scam. So basically, like you get hired for Mary Kay, and you get all this makeup, and it's usually women, and they go around to their friends' houses and they get them to buy it and get them to buy it, and then they try to get them to sell Mary Kay as well. And that's how you really make your money, is when you're hiring other people and they're making sales, and then other people are making sales, and then all that money trickles back up and up and up the pyramid. And then eventually it collapses because there's not enough. However, a lot of these Mary Kay, again, they're like functional pyramid scams. And you see them all the time on TV and such. So, those aren't very regulated. They're regulated to some degree, but the lobbying power of these functional corporate pyramid scams are pretty intense. And it's pretty hard to get rid of those. But I think rules and regulation are definitely needed for cryptocurrency. So when these, like BitConnect, and they're giving over 1% daily interest, that has to stop immediately. Also, the affiliate links, and how much money the affiliate links actually get when somebody signs up and then purchases their own package or lending package or whatever. The affiliate what have you, the receiver, gets quite a bit, an inordinate amount of money. And that's why they're shilled so heavily on YouTube for all these lending. And you'll see everybody with their 28 different sign-up links. And a few sign-up links, okay, that's fine. But once you get like 10 on your description list, it's getting a little ridiculous. And that's because they make so much money per person that signs up on there. And that screams scam as well. Another thing that I seen was Devor Coin's roadmap, their 2018 roadmap. And it was really funny, and I urge you guys just to look at it. Don't invest. Just look at their 2018 roadmap. And it's not actually a real roadmap like you see with ICOs, where they have the little line, and every few months they're going to add an exchange, or they're going to add this feature, that feature. No. The first thing is that the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promoters get a trip to Paris for a conference, and then the top 5 promot for Devorcoin. And that screams Ponzi scam when all these people, these top promoters, are going to get this cruise or a prize or a vacation. That's when you know it's not good. Especially since Devorcoin is now, I think, at like $15 a coin. It's pretty much just about to collapse, unfortunately, for anybody that's in it right now. So another thing that I was thinking of is that these exchanges, that these lending coins, anything that you're putting money into, they need to have the required capital legally beforehand to pay you out in the event that they go under. And this is the way it goes on, in Wall Street, as much as legally they can. And of course, they always want to get away from that. And there has been numerous scams in Wall Street where people lost a lot of money. I mean, there was Enron, first of all, and they lost a lot, and everybody lost their jobs. But regulation should be, they have to have the required backed up capital, and they can't use that. They can't use that money, and they have to have it there in case they go under so they can pay everybody out and everybody can walk away peacefully and happily, and they can all get their capital or their principal back at the very least. So when I say government regulation, I'm not talking about necessarily taxing people and the government just greedily eating up taxes and then using them on whatever their $2.5 trillion CIA black budget, whatever they got going on for the particular year. I'm not talking about that. That's a whole different conspiratorial topic that we could talk about, how the government uses taxes. But what I mean is that we always rely on the government. We say we don't want to, but if you were to get robbed, what do? You call the police. If your house is on fire, what do? You call the firemen. So when it comes down to it, when you're in trouble, you do turn to the government. At least most of us do. And you might not think you do, but, get your vehicle stolen and call the cops pretty quick. Watch how fast you call the police so that you can file a report and hopefully they can find it. So what I'm saying is that just rules and regulation can be a good thing for the people, so that we can stop this malicious lending activity and these scam ICOs, so that these ICOs, before they even sell their coins, they have to have enough capital in the first place, so that if the coin goes under before the ICO is even done, they need to give the money back, which in a lot of cases does not happen. I think Knox coin was an ICO scam, and everybody lost their money. And so that would prevent scamming in itself before it could even start to happen. Because if it is truly a scam ICO, and they're like, okay, we're going to scam everybody, they're going to give us, millions of dollars, and then we're going to run away. But if they don't have that money first, they're not allowed to release that ICO. Legally, it could be shut down. And I know cryptocurrency is a little hard to shut down because it's just all over the internet and all over nodes. But we've got to start somewhere in terms of some kind of regulation that will save everybody and help people. And I understand that people need to have their own self-accountability. They need to be responsible with their own money. If they invest into something that was bad, well, it's on them. And that's true. But there are a lot of shady practices, and how about another example of government regulation in that, like the FDA or whatever. So you can't just be like, hey, Smith's hot dogs cure cancer on a big billboard of a highway, right? Most people will know, yeah, that's not going to cure cancer, right? But you're going to sucker a lot of people. Like you just are, it, we all know it. A lot of people are going to go out and buy whatever hot dog brand because it cures cancer, right? So the government steps in and says, hey, no, you can't claim that without any kind of medical, without any medical proof that it's going to cure cancer. You can't just do that. And so that would be like a malpractice that I'm talking about in the crypto world. Like, oh, this coin is going to do everything for you. Just pay us $1 million for this coin. They're going to scam people. And just because those people lost money and they should be responsible with their money does not mean that the scammers shouldn't be punished for that, because it is a scam and scamming is illegal. So there has to be some kind of accountability and regulation. But tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. Let's keep it civil. Let's validate our points as best we can, but let's be objective about it, and let me know what you guys think. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.